And I know when I was watching Club 520, when Jeff Teague was trying to explain it, right?
Yes.
So he was saying NIL, the agents normally they're in between that, let's just say 10 to 20%.
Right.
But if some players are not marketable,
Right.
how do you get them marketable?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think first is being real about what it is or isn't with said player, right? Like if they're not marketable. But they're all you could do is take a stab at it and try, because on social media, this is where it comes down to, some would say it's just highlights. I get it, right? But people are watching it.
Bro, it gets fucking engagement,
People
dog.
are watching it. So it's the engagement to that highlight. And it's not typically about that thing that's being highlighted.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of what people interact with, right? And I think it's just understanding that's what I think I'm trying to be better at, really explaining that to families and to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like just how to even look at using the social media, right? Like, because it's all about curating who you want the world to believe you are.
Correct.
Right?
There's a certain image, certain persona that you want to carry.
And within that, it's also, I do believe athletes should stay authentic. I do feel like you shouldn't change your something just to work with said brand. And this is where the education comes into play, right? Around okay, what type of, how do I do it, right? What should I be thinking about? Well, first, let's think about developing your brand, right? Like to sell a brand, you have to have a brand.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So that takes, just like athletes' games or whatever it is, sport they're working towards, that takes development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, development's an endless journey, dog. So regardless on what that is, development, sports, business, understanding your brand, bro. Like I think that's the foundation, all day long. So let me ask you this. So if you got a kid, let me give you a scenario. So you got a kid that say they play, let's just say basketball, right? Let's keep it basketball.
Right.
But they have a passion in playing video games.
Right.
There's a brand there. How would you advise, say, a kid to leverage his authenticity of maybe playing Fortnite, but he's dope in basketball? How would you talk to a parent to try to put that awareness together for them?
Yeah, I think it's around first that plan, telling them, hey, let's develop a plan, right? And understanding those things of his athletic ability, and then what he's into gaming wise, because that's a real thing too.
That's huge, dog.
Esports and streaming now, that's a real thing too.
That's huge, bro.
I think this is where I think, we get in trouble sometimes, to where we make it like it's this or that, right? Like, I think it's like, that's where it gets like, no, it could be both. It could be both.
It can be both, bro.
It could be both, and I think it's perspective, and then I think it's around trust, right? And who are you getting your guidance from?
Yep.
Right? Who are you listening to ultimately to help you make decisions, right? And I think that's where, man, it just goes back to just your support.
Yep.
Your foundation.
I agree. So how important though is keeping the main thing though?
I think the most important thing is that keeping the main thing, right? And I think that's where, for basketball players, like, it has to be about basketball. You gotta be good. You still have to train.
Like you
but
still
you gotta be good. Like, you gotta be good, and like, you have to move the needle. You have to impact winning. Mm-hmm. You can't just be a role player but want like the treatment of like you're the guy, and typically when you're the guy, you don't think you're the guy, and you don't move like that, and it's just it's you don't have to. I think people tell you. I think people's reactions to you kind of show you, But yeah, I think